Happy Thanksgiving from the Nerdthusiast Podcast. That's the one.
There you go.
Guys, hello. Welcome to a special episode of the Nerdthusiast Podcast, a Thanksgiving thankful bowl of Nerdthusiast for you is what we're giving you. Where we're going to talk about what we're thankful for.
It's more like a stew. There's all sorts of shit in here.
Yeah, it's a stew with like bones in there. That's been in the stew for a long time, so you get like it permeates through the whole.
There'll be history in this stew.
What do you mean history?
Our histories.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about ourselves.
It's
gonna be a more personal episode of the Nerdthusiast Podcast, which I'm excited about.
There's no news.
There's
if
no
you're
news.
looking for like news and stuff, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not in news.
You can skip this one if you want.
We're basically recording this ahead of time to give us.
Don't skip it, but you can if you want.
Yeah, I don't think you should. I think it's gonna be exciting. But we're recording this ahead of time to give us a little bit free time during the holidays.
If you want to know more about our backgrounds, this is a great episode to watch.
Exactly. About like what kind of games we're into, all that kind of stuff. Matt, we tried to do this episode. We started about like 15 minutes ago, but someone didn't hit the record button over here. I don't know how that happened.
You double check everything this time?
I double checked. Everything is recording right now. Everything is good. So we had a little bit of a discussion. We got into it. What we want to do though is have a back and forth discussion where Matt tells me something he's thankful for, kind of focused around games and media that we're into, but it might go into different directions. So he'll mention something. It's going to bounce back to me. I'll mention something. We'll kind of go through everything.
It might not even be video games, but it's going to be games or some sort of media tangent, and it kind of trail off from there.
I want to talk about like my trip to Japan at some point.
There you go.
There's stuff like that too.
Did you get any games while you were in Japan?
I bought a few. We'll get them.
Questions.
Yeah, see, we're already ready. Matt, you have a few more things that you want to talk about. I
do.
You should I tell them what you brought up last time and kind of recap?
Yeah, go ahead.
Matt brought up Sonic. The Sonic. You're thankful for this new Sonic that we're getting.
I'm thankful that he does not look as horrific.
Yes.
As he once did.
It's huge.
It is huge.
Yeah, you were saying it's just nice to have a cleaner looking Sonic. It makes the whole movie seem like it's going to be much more, I don't know, like the quality does seem like it's been elevated a little bit.
It has. I mean, it went from like a laughing stock of a joke to just being like,
oh, maybe it'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
That sort of thing.
I love Jim Carrey. I love that Jim Carrey is going to be the way Jim Carrey was like in the 90s. He very much embodied that from the
which we
trailers and stuff that we got.
We haven't seen that in a while, which is really nice.
He's been, a lot more serious in roles for the most part lately. He hasn't really been what, you would consider him to be from the 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in that. Sonic looking horrifying I just wanted to see because it was like a bad movie before. Like
same.
This is clearly a bad movie.
That's what I was so excited
now
about.
It's like he looks more like Sonic, so I'm down to have some fun.
It might be fun. And we're going to watch it probably together. We're going to do a B-side.
I'm going to try to watch it as soon as we can so we can get our stuff out to the world. Yeah. So you guys can know.
It'd be nice to do a B-sides on it and all that. I think that'd be really cool.
And I love Sonic for one. I'm not one of those trash-hating scumbags that don't like Sonic just because it's a popular thing to do. Yeah, those games were good.
You're thankful for Sonic.
I am.
As well as just this new movie that we're getting.
I am thankful for Sonic. It made me get a Sega Genesis. So took me away from Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sonic had a big part to do with that.
That marketing got you? Is that like...
oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Sega's marketing was phenomenal. If you weren't alive during that period of time, good God.
It was so, like, looking back at it, it's so fucking lame. Like, that 90s...
looking back
that 90s cheese? Like, how did it work so well on us?
There was a whole generation of people that were starting to get older, my generation, that was starting to get older, that grew up with Nintendo, and they were like, oh, these are big boy games.
Yeah.
Not Nintendo games.
Oh.
These are what the adults do.
They got
and it made you want to do
it's
that. It's
right when like people were growing to that like 13-year-old age where like they thought they were cool.
Sonic had attitude. He's wagging his finger and shit, doing that.
Yeah. I remember that.
He had attitude.
Do you think he influenced your attitude a little bit? Like, do you think you take Sonic with you everywhere you go in a way?
I don't feel that way.
No?
No. I take where I grew up from and the way people speak. I showed you a video earlier today of two people speaking in Philadelphia, having a very interesting conversation where they were speaking about pizza and an F-bomb being dropped.
A lot of
constantly,
F-bombs, always.
Like just all over the place.
Yeah.
And I said, this video made me feel like I was home for the first time in a long time.
We live in Southern California. Matt is from Philadelphia. I get senses.
I'm from New Jersey, but Philadelphia is the city that I'm closest to.
Oh, okay.
I'm right near Philadelphia.
Sorry, I apologize.
South Jersey.
Yeah,
he's
a Jersey kid. And I get senses that you miss your hometown every once in a while. You miss the vibes, the edge, the kind of more rough and tumble vibes, because everyone's kind of like a little bit softer here in California, right?
Oh yeah, it's a lot slower paced out here. That's why I like Sonic. You gotta go fast.
Yeah, that's another big thing.
Everything's slower in California, and I went to Hawaii. I got married in Hawaii a few years ago, and when I was in Hawaii, I didn't think it could get any slower than California, and good God, is it slower in Hawaii.
It sounded like you were losing your mind over there when you went to Hawaii.
I don't know how anything gets done over there. It's amazing. I mean, it's a very relaxing place to be, but if you need to get something done, if you're like waiting for a table,
they'll get to it when they get to it.
They're going to get to you when they get to you.
This sounds like a great place to live in my eyes.
I wanted to strangle people multiple times and waiting for fucking table. Now, this is the East Coast coming out.
Absolutely.
This is how we react. It's disrespectful for you to make me sit there for this insane amount of time when it looks like you're not doing a goddamn thing and you don't care on top of
it. They're just chilling, and you should be chilling too, bro. I get it.
I can't.
But to get back on what we're thankful for, and this is one of the
things.
Going on
a tangent when I'm supposed to be talking about what I'm thankful for.
This is one of the things that we mentioned in the past recording, and I really do want to bring it up again. Speaking about like the '90s and stuff, Dragon Ball Z is something I'm really thankful for. We were talking about Supersonic on the last recording, and I went into Super Saiyans.
No,
and
not the same.
Me and Matt, yeah, you're right. Sonic ripped off Goku and his form change, whatever the case. We were talking about this last episode or last recording, and I touched on this idea that maybe me and Matt, because Matt, what is your experience with Dragon Ball?
I know more about Pokemon,
yes,
than I do about Dragon Ball,
and
which is saying a lot.
Next to nothing about Pokemon.
Yep,
very very little. So this got me thinking, like, we're wrapping up the Star Wars B-sides pretty soon here. We'll have one more about episode 9. And what should we do next? Should we cover, we have a lot of discussions that we've thought of for B-sides.
We have like a bank, like a document filled with ideas
of what
that we can pull from when we need to.
And I don't want to, if we don't have to pull from it yet, I don't think we should. And I think
there's no pressure or nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what would be really cool for me, for you, and definitely for the audience is to kind of get how, like, what you feel about Dragon Ball, like a raw,
I can give you that synopsis now. What I feel about Dragon Ball is I have no interest in watching Dragon Ball. I have no interest in playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's not my bag, baby.
I mean, I get that. I feel you, but the thing is, and I would be okay with that if you had like tried out Dragon Ball Z.
I don't want to try it.
If you So what I'm proposing to Matt, and what he's being very hostile about right now, is
this is like getting a kid to eat something he doesn't want to eat. It's not gonna fucking happen.
It could happen. You just gotta force the kid and make him not eat anything else. I'm just gonna tank all B-sides until you agree with me. No, but I think it would be cool, and we don't have to do the whole series. I'm thinking, we're here every Wednesday, Matt. Every other Wednesday we do a B-sides. We've been doing a B-sides where we watch a Star Wars movie or 2 Star Wars movies. Sometimes we'll like be here for 4.5 hours watching a movie.
It happens.
What if we did like an hour, 45 minutes, hour and a half watching the first like 5 episodes of Dragon Ball?
Richard, there's a difference.
What?
When we watch Star Wars, it's something we both equally enjoy or sometimes hate.
Yeah.
Looking at you, episode 8.
For sure.
But there's a mutual thing happening. With Dragon Ball, there's no drive, there's nothing coming from my side of it to want to watch that whatsoever. I'm not interested. It's not happening.
Not yet. But I would be okay with this if like you had tried it and you were like, oh, like immediately disgusted. All I'm asking, is that you show us what that disgust looks like when you see it.
You could say that about anything, and it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. You could be like, man, these horse balls are delicious. I'm not eating the horse balls.
They might be, though. You don't know.
And if you're wondering, did I just compare horse balls to Dragon Ball Z? You're goddamn right.
So this, this is something I wish you saw my reaction upon the first recording of me realizing how anti this idea Matt was.
This is not happening.
This is my new goal in Nerdthusiast, is to somehow convince Matt to just watch the first 5 episodes of Dragon Ball with me and have, a B-sides episode about that.
I would just as soon go catch a Squirtle in Pokemon.
He's really against it, as you can see. My hope is...
Or are you Squirtle?
Squirtle, what?
You catch Squirtle, right?
Squirtle is a starter Pokemon. Professor Oak or someone has to give it to you. You can breed a Squirtle, but in order to breed a Squirtle, you need to have a Squirtle, Wartortle, or Blastoise to do so.
This is what's wrong with you guys.
Anyway, so my hope is... I have a new goal now, and I hope that you, the community, can help us get bigger and, become a more established podcast with more viewers. And we can, all work together to convince Matthew that, to do an episode about Dragon Ball would be beneficial to the brand. Because I think if Matt believes we will grow considerably thanks to this episode, I think he will do it. So what I need everyone to help us do is get the word out about Nerdthusiast. Let the internet know about my plight and my desire to get Matt to watch the show, and help me make it happen.
It's not happening.
Help me bring Matt over to the anime side with the Dragon Ball.
It's not happening. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter, and you can tweet at me. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Try it out. Anyways, that brings us up. We're back now. We're in.
You'll teach me how to use a block button real quick.
Oh, really? You're gonna block people who suggest Dragon Ball to you?
I mean, if they're doing it because you solicited them to,
I'm not soliciting. I'm throwing out information into the ether for them to be aware of, and letting them do what they want with it.
Send me your Sonic memes.
Matt will retweet any Sonic memes that you tag him in. Guaranteed.
Richard just makes up rules for me that I follow apparently all the time.
So yeah, but on a real note, I am thankful for Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball in general.
Yeah, I don't mean to take anything away from Dragon Ball fans. I'm not here to be a douche right now.
No, you just have no interest.
I'm just not interested. If that's your gig, go for it. If that's your kink, get up in it.
I don't have a kink for Dragon Ball.
I'm not saying you do.
I mean, Bulma's very hot. You're right. She's very cute. She's got blue hair.
Don't half of them have fucking blue hair,
awesome.
Orange pants and shit?
Marin is Bulma's sister, and she wears like a onesie bikini, and it's yellow, and it's really cool. Yeah, sure.
Cool.
But I don't know. I'm thankful for Dragon Ball, is what I mean to say. Sorry. A little off topic. Matt, what else are you thankful for?
I am thankful that J.J. Abrams is doing episode 9 because Mother of God, if Rian Johnson was coming back, I would not see the film.
I don't think a lot of people would. I mean, the people who loved episode 8. I think, originally it was supposed to be Colin Trevorrow doing episode 9, who did Jurassic World and stuff.
It doesn't sound good. I don't know his work. I haven't watched Jurassic World.
Yeah.
I give it a chance, but JJ's back, and 7 wasn't bad, so I have some hope. And I like he picked some good actors. So
yeah. And to see him work with his actors again. Yeah, we talked about it, I think, last week.
We did.
About episode 7 and 8. Great B-sides, by the way. Definitely check it out. I think it was a really good. We had a really good time talking about.
The Inclination Proclamation was fantastic.
Yes, we had a good intro there. I'm grateful for it as well. I think having him come back to his character is really great. I don't want to rehash too much of what we said, last podcast during that B-sides, but. Yeah, it feels good to have him back in that role, for sure.
Without a doubt.
For me, Matt, do you have anything else, another thing you're thankful for? I kind of want to lean more onto you because you have more topics in your thing.
Well,
yeah.
I'm double checking the standings because I need to see how many weeks are left.
Matt has a sports related thing.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. The Eagles can still make the playoffs, so I'm thankful for that.
Matt, are you a football every week kind of guy? Do you keep up with the season religiously?
Let me give you just a small amount of history. I'm not going to go into a big long story.
Okay.
As you guys know, I work at GameStop right now. I've mentioned that before on the podcast. My time right now is horrible, and it screws up my whole football schedule.
It's the holidays, yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah,
I have to work Sundays again. I'm missing a ton of games. I'm trying to watch as much as I possibly can. I used to work for Spectrum before, and even when I had to work, there was TVs everywhere.
Oh, really?
I never missed a game. So I went from never missing the game to hardly being able to watch a game. So it's crushing my soul.
That's why they closed down that center that you worked at. You guys were watching TV all day.
They installed the TVs.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, that was a perk of working there. If I was at home, I could watch the game. If I had to go to work, I could watch the game. I could always watch the game, or at least I wasn't sitting there like watching the game the entire time I was at work.
Yeah.
But I knew what the hell was happening.
If something big happened, you'd be like, "Oh shit, let's check out that replay."
Exactly. You can turn around and catch a replay. That's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be sitting there staring at the TV, but if something happens, you turn around, you catch the replay.
100%.
So I went from that to like hardly watching it at all. But I try to keep up as much as I can. If the Eagles are on like Monday Night Football or something. As long as I can get out of work, I'm watching those games.
Like growing up, was this a big thing for you? Like, did your dad get you into it? Like,
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
And it was surprising because all I would do when I was younger was pray to God that football would end, so I could play a video game.
Oh, because he was like making you watch it almost, or what?
Yeah, I mean, we watched Monday Night Football, and then there was a period of time where I was into wrestling, so Mondays became like a battle of WWE watching, flipping back and forth between that and football. So it was like, but my dad kind of he won't admit it, but he did kind of like wrestling also.
It's fun.
So he would he was definitely more into football, but he would watch the wrestling.
Matt, you're into wrestling?
I was. I'm not. I was.
I mean.
I'm not saying anything bad about it now.
But I am.
You bought ECW. Go fuck yourselves.
What's ECW?
Extreme Championship Wrestling?
No, I don't know.
So there was you know what WWE is?
Yeah, I know WWF. As well. Yeah.
You know what WCW is?
That sounds familiar as well. It's another one.
Okay, it was.
Yeah.
So during that period of time, this was like a heyday for wrestling. WCW was going head to head with WWF. They were like competing formats, different channels, everything. And I started watching WCW. I found it more interesting, and it was better. Like they had the NWO and all this other. I'm not gonna get into all the details. WCW was awesome. It was a competing thing.
Okay.
WWF eventually bought them out, and there was a third that came in. It was ECW, which was like Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Okay. And
that whole group was like focused on like a hardcore wrestling, so they would use like more weapons and stuff. Like,
whoa!
And this was based in Philadelphia.
Oh,
their hometown was in Philadelphia, so I would go to ECW matches in their hometown and watch. Like,
that's pretty cool,
dude. It was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
It was nothing like it. You'd go there, you get some fucking beer. Because this is the other thing, they didn't have assigned seats at ECW.
Oh, you just
so the sooner you get there, the better seat. We would go there in the mornings and just drink all day in line. And wait till the venue opened, and we'd have some amazing seats, and we'd be hammered by the time the event started.
Amazing.
And they took that away from me.
So Matt, I hate to do this, but so wrestling. Did you what was it about wrestling? Like, was it just the blood? Did you like the storyline? Did you like the heels and competing with the?
I was into wrestling for like a long time. I liked. It was more casual, like WCW. WWF when they had Hulk Hogan and there was like Ultimate Warrior and stuff like that. I was into that when I was a kid, but it was very casual. Like these characters are cool. I like wrestling. Yeah. Not deep into it. But then when I was in middle school to maybe my freshman year of high school or sophomore year of high school, whenever the ECW got bought, that was literally you can timestamp the day that I stopped watching wrestling, and that was it. Okay. So WWF bought WCW,
and you were done.
They bought ECW, and I was done.
But wrestling itself, what was it you enjoyed about it? I guess is what I'm asking.
I understood that it wasn't real. Yeah. But this whole performance, these people are they get seriously injured. Yeah. With the shit that they're doing. Mm-hmm. And the whole theatrics, it was just, if the writing was good, it was very, very eventful.
You gotta stop banging on this thing.
I'm sorry, I didn't. If the writing was good, it could really capture you and you get into it. 100%. You have people you're cheering for.
Matt, I don't think you know this. Dragon Ball is I
knew this twist was coming.
It's the same, dude. It's the same exact thing. It's got heels. It's got faces.
Humans, man.
It's it. I don't think you understand how many parallels there are between these two franchises. I'm just throwing it out. I'm just letting you know.
This year they announced AEW wrestling, which is the first time since I think ECW that they've had any real competition. Yeah. And it's supposed to be excellent. I'm like that close to watching AEW wrestling.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Because when WWF took over, like they had Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. I watched some of that. You know, I would flip back and forth between that and WCW, because that period of time was literally a golden era. There was NWO and then like WWF had their Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And they had, you know, superstars on both sides, and I would watch both as much as I could. But then it just changed. Like they had full control over everything, and there was no competition. So they could just shit out whatever because there was no competition anymore.
Yeah.
Just like how Madden has no competition, they can do whatever they want with Madden. There's no other football game coming out.
For sure, I feel you.
You know,
I mean, yeah, I think
not that they're shitting out every Madden, but just as an example.
I think it's been an issue for like a while with like the wrestling and stuff, like with, you know, how corporatized it's gotten like over the years and stuff. So,
well, there was only one game in town, and now there's not.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay, so it's kind of opening up again.
It is. This year is the first time I'm like
into it.
I haven't watched it, but I'm very close to.
Yeah. I don't know. You should try it out. You should try it out, and then you should also watch Dragon Ball to see what like the comparisons are. But no, that's very cool that like it's something that like you and your dad kind of like.
Oh God, I forgot.
Yeah.
I mean, I went on a far tangent. I'm sorry.
It's cool that you and your dad like kind of like it's fine. That like you guys got into it together. So like you weren't super into football like at first, but like.
But I learned everything from that
because you were watching.
I learned what the play was like. You know, by the time I was probably 10 years old, I was like, I know like every kind of like, you know, any kind of flag or whatever. I could tell you what the flag was before the ref would call it.
Okay. Yeah.
Even though I didn't realize how much I was paying attention, I must have been paying attention enough to pick all this shit up.
When did that shift happen for you? When you were like, football is just something I'm almost being forced to watch. Like, I want to go watch football. Like, was there a specific time?
It was mostly during the Super Bowl. And it was mostly because my dad would gamble with me.
Oh, wow. He really he knew how to get you in on football.
I had a vested interest at that point. We're putting money on the line, or something like that.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So that's really what got me interested for those games. And then, you know, as I got older, you know, I would. It kind of came and went. It happened more or less like when I moved to California. Honestly, that's when I really, really got into football. I had more time at that point.
Yeah. It probably was also a way to like get back to your home in a way to watch like the Eagles.
Very true. Yeah. I could watch the Eagles sometimes. College actually was pretty big too. I watched quite a bit of football in college, just not as much. Like I didn't get really into it until I moved out here.
Yeah.
And it's because I have less friends out here. I don't have all my friends from college. I don't have any friends from high school. I have a handful of friends out here. So I just had more time to watch football.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. And then you're saying they have a chance of making it to the Super Bowl,
making the playoffs.
The Eagles,
the Dallas Cowboys are ahead of them by like 2 games, but there's still enough games left where they can. Dallas would have to lose like quite a few games for them to catch up. But
okay.
The Eagles would have to win 3 in a row. Dallas would have to lose the next 3.
Okay, so they're in that position. So it's a very thin margin that they have to.
It's rapidly decreasing.
I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, we just need Dallas to lose. I hate Dallas. Always hated Dallas, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Dallas.
Do you hate
Cowboys, not the city?
What about the people?
They're fine.
I hate the people. I don't. That's not true. If there's any Dallas listeners, I'm sorry. Let's see. For other stuff, for me, I think Final Fantasy VII getting a remake is something I'm crazy thankful for.
Why?
That is Final Fantasy VII is.
I see because I'm just throwing it out from the outside. Yeah. I would think that you'd be afraid of them remaking the game.
So here's the thing. I'm not the type to. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time.
Which is why I feel that you'd be afraid with them fucking something up.
I'm not the kind of person who says like, oh, if you take something, I don't think anything's like that sacred, really.
Okay.
You know, in terms of and especially when it comes to like remaking a thing, and I mean, I guess so. I guess some things bother me, like Lion King. When that remake came out, I thought it was pointless and there's no reason for it.
Oh God! As soon as I saw it, I was like, why are they making all this? Why are they doing this to all the?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I won't. Go ahead. We're thankful for things.
We're being thankful. But with Final Fantasy VII, like I have played that game so many times, and have gone through it so many different times that like I think the idea of them remaking it's scary. It's for sure scary. It's worrisome.
Is Cloud your favorite video game character?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He's
I had a feeling that was true.
He's one of my favorite characters ever. Like I just love him so much. And he's not that an incredibly well written character. I just have he means so much to me, and he's one of the first characters I really grew attached to, like as an adolescent.
You have his amiibo?
I do have his amiibo. It's like one of the few amiibos I have.
If I had his amiibo and you didn't, there'd be a problem.
That would be sacrilege. It'd be a problem. You're right. So no, I do think they, with a remake, like you can let someone take something that you love and just breathe new life into it. And Final Fantasy VII is so dated in terms of like what it looks like graphically, and
that whole era is so unfortunate.
Yeah, it is what it is. The growing pains into like the 3D, into the modern 3D era. We just had to step on that stone to get to where we are now. But seeing, me playing that game as many times as I have, I see that game in a way that other people I feel like don't. I feel like they play that game and they just see Lego characters and they see, a campy kind of storyline. I play that game. I've played it so many times. I've thought about it so much that to me, there's like discussions about Gaia principle in Final Fantasy VII, which is like the idea that the Earth is a living thing and a living organism you have to take care of. There's, a bunch of stuff about like corporations like destroying the planet. There's eco-terrorism, and justification of eco-terrorism. There's like so many just compelling things. There's fucking Lovecraftian horror within it. There's a alien monster who comes in and starts like infecting people and like adjusting people's like genes and stuff. So like there's this space horror aspect to it. There's so many cool aspects to it that I feel like are overlooked because of how like campy the game is and how bad the translation is. Like I feel like you miss a lot of like what's being said in that story because of the shoddy translation. And actually, Tim Rogers from Kotaku does an amazing series called I think Let's Mosey, where he like compares the Japanese original text to like what the English translation is.
Like he translated it himself, basically.
He translates what it actually should have said and what like the translator. And apparently, the translator who worked on it was like one translator who worked on all Final Fantasy VII and did it like within a incredibly
like a day and a half,
like a ridiculous timeline. So like it's cool to see stuff like that, like. And the idea of getting just Final Fantasy VII retranslated is such a beautiful and exciting thing. But also the opportunity to have this game shown again in the way that I viewed it in my mind's eye for everyone to kind of like look at and enjoy is incredibly exciting and something I'm very, very thankful for. I'm worried about it being split up into parts. That's the thing that concerns me. But
it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, it's worrisome. It's a worrisome thing, and we'll see where it goes and if it feels warranted. If this game and the way they expand this part of the game, if they do a good job with that and it feels worth it, I'll probably be okay with them splitting it up into pieces. Especially when you look at Final Fantasy VII, it's so big, but it was able to be as big as it was because like the scale of the assets were so small polygons and stuff. You can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I am excited to see them revitalize it and even do new things with it. I played that game so many times that like it's sacred to me. But if you change it in the remake, it's not going to change the original. The original's still there, and it's never going to be taken away from me. So I'm okay with them messing with it, I guess.
Yeah, I like that you're open to that idea because I think this remake is going to open it up not just to people like me I tried 7 in its original state and I could not. I tried multiple times. I restarted that save like at least 3 times.
For sure.
It just wasn't connecting with me.
Yeah.
Mostly due to the turn-based gameplay. That's being changed now, and so not is it only good for people like me, but I think the only way you're going to get a younger generation to experience this is to remake the game.
Yeah, I think to people who are upset that it's not turn-based anymore, they're taking away that turn-based.
But no, they put that in as an option now.
They did, and it's not some. I feel like the people who want turn-based want like exactly the same turn-based. It's like, well, that's
just play the game. Just play 7
the game.
The way it was.
Mod it, put some better textures on there. Like it's not, the game is still there. Yeah, so I think I agree. I agree with this idea that like it needs to be modernized for people a new generation of people to like enjoy this game.
Yeah, because how many of them are going to go back and pick up a PS1 or download an old-ass game that looks like an old-ass game and play it on their, PS4 or,
which you
whatever,
can do. You can get on PS4.
On Xbox. It's coming to Xbox Game Pass, actually.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That's great. Awesome. They put like every Final Fantasy on Xbox Game Pass.
Pretty cool. Dude, Game Pass is insane right now.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was into subscription services, if I had an Xbox, I would get it 100%.
It's an unbelievable
It'd be
deal.
stupid to not have it. So... No, I'm excited for it, and yeah, I think that modern take is important, and just the prospect of Final Fantasy VII when it first came out, like introduced a bunch of people to RPGs to Final Fantasy. It changed the Western idea.
It made people buy PS1s when they didn't even a lot of those people didn't even know what an RPG was. They were like, this game is supposed to be amazing. I need to buy a PS1. Just to check this out. Yeah, absolutely. And if it did a similar thing with this remake, like it got people into Final Fantasy again, because I feel like Final Fantasy has never been as big as it was with Final Fantasy VII. If it could do it again and come out with this amazing battle system, everything. I thought 10 was pretty big.
10 was pretty big.
I think that might have been on the same level as 7. I'm not saying quality-wise. I'm saying as popular as it was, 10 was a big fucking deal.
You think so?
Yeah. 10 was a big fucking deal.
It was. A lot of people play it. I know a lot of casual gamers who are familiar with Final Fantasy VII and that story of Tidus and Yuna and stuff. So, yeah. I have fingers crossed. I hope it does well, and I hope it's good, obviously. What about you, Matt? Anything else? I don't have anything else to say on Final Fantasy VII.
I have nothing else for Final Fantasy VII, but I am very thankful for my wife, Claudia.
Me too.
She agreed to let us use this spare bedroom to, first of all, she didn't want me to put anything up in here game related.
Really?
So she compromised quite a bit.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia. And then obviously we're using this to record it now. So this is like my game room / studio.
Yeah.
And she agreed to all those things, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally taking up an entire extra room in the house to like my own personal shit. So thank you for that.
It's super cool of her to do. And then sometimes we go long too, and like she's super awesome because she she's accepting of that, and she lets us go a little bit long while we're in here in the other room.
She normally has to go through the door here, but when I'll text her and tell her we're recording, she'll go around the other way and
to not interrupt the podcast. She's awesome. So yeah, I same here. I am also very thankful for Claudia.
Yeah, so I'm extremely grateful for her, other friends and family that surround me and support us on this this journey that we're trying to get through to build an audience. To
be the biggest podcasters there ever were. We're coming for you, Joe Rogan.
Yes, things are just always easier when people have your back, and I'm very thankful for her and other people in my family or friends. Obviously, me and you are supporting each other in this endeavor.
100%, yeah.
Anybody online that's sending out a retweet for us or just blasting our message, like I'm thankful for all you guys because 100%. This isn't easy to do, and no one's paying us to do this. We're it's all we're doing it for free, because we enjoy doing it, and because we want to build an audience. So all you guys who retweet and like and do all those things, that tremendously helps us. Yeah, we haven't started a Patreon yet. We're not asking for any money or anything like that. So those little things go a long way for us.
Absolutely. And we're such a small thing that we noticed if it's 3 or 4 or 6 more viewers than or 6 or 7 less. We noticed things just by viewership. So even just an extra view or whatever it is, just someone watching is always really nice to see too. So yeah. So it is nice to have people to support us, whether it's our own friends and people out there who are watching us is really cool too, and we're thankful for that. I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely.
Definitely big shout outs on the subject to Bernardo Delcast for doing the art for our logo and everything.
Thank you for that. It's great art. It's exactly what we wanted. Was something like late 80s, early 90s, more or less 90s, I think, super neon ridiculous colors,
retro looking thing. Yeah, the glasses were a perfect fit too as well. So yeah, thankful for that. We have Rick and Robo will retweet us as well. We appreciate that, man. Hunter J. Pearson writes to us. Ida Hoagie will write to us for questions and stuff. All those little things always help and make it
even leaving questions helps engage us. So anything you do like that is
it feels
much
like someone's watching. So it's cool. It's very cool. Let's see here. I mean, and also like in another route, I'm also thankful for like just the people I've met through video game communities and video games. I don't know like if you've met many people playing games or anything.
So one thing you'll come to learn about me if you don't know it already is I'm extremely introverted. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't, I'm okay with that. It's cool. Like, it doesn't bother me that much. I have a handful of small friends that I keep close, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. I don't spend a lot of time, half my tweets are just, here's new Nerdthusiast Podcast. I'm not on there spending all my time. Like, I'm sure that annoys some people too, but if you ever want to reach out to me, send me a direct message or just tweet at me and I'll tweet back to you.
Yeah, you reply.
But I'm not one to put out a bunch of information into the world. I consume it more. I'm an outside like lurker more than I am like.
You never really like to get so like when like would you ever get on mic playing video games growing up or anything like that?
On mic? What do you mean? I'm sorry.
Just like if you're playing like Twitch? Call of Duty. No, if you're getting like playing Call of Duty back in the day.
I used to.
Would you have your mic on and talking to people? And
I used to. Bad words? That's actually something I have later on down the list. I can bring that up now since it'll be a nice transition. Yeah. But shout out to Neil, Kevin, and Bob. I spent more time with the three of them playing online games than anybody else.
Oh, that's cool.
Mostly during my college years and a little bit after, specifically Neil and Kevin, we played Gears of 1 for about 3 years together. Like,
really?
We loved Gears 1. I still love Gears 1 because of that.
Did you meet him playing online or were you just friends beforehand?
We were friends beforehand.
Oh, okay, very cool.
But it was like the one game that like we all connected on. And then later on, Call of Duty, the person I played Call of Duty mostly with is Bob. Like we played almost every Call of Duty together. So
it's fun like to have like a group of friends or like a game with a friend that you guys can really bond over. I think that's like one of my favorite things about like playing games online. Were there any like maps on Call of Duty or like specific things you guys would do back in the day, or Gears of War?
No, nothing like in particular that I could think of. I mean, Gears 1, like, it didn't matter the map. Like, the three of us were on a team. We'd have one rando, or we'd, pick up another friend or something like Kevin and, Neil had other friends. Somebody would get on the team.
Yeah.
We would destroy most of the time in that game. Like, there'd be a few times where we would lose, but then we talk an endless amount of shit and hopefully win the next match.
Yeah, for sure. Just on mic to the other team, just shit talking them.
Yeah, I mean, that time I was in my early 20s, so I was saying horrible things to people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Horrible things, things I would never say now.
Yeah, not good things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Of course you would. We all did it. We didn't all.
There
do
was
it.
a lot of
we shouldn't do it. Don't do it.
Fucking
it's not
comments,
okay.
And I'll rape your eyeballs and shit like
Jesus.
It was horrible things,
Yeah.
But you live and you learn.
Growing up, I think I've mentioned Warhawk on this podcast before.
You mentioned it at least to me, if not on the podcast.
I definitely had a little rant while you like left one time about Warhawk. Shout out to Mo. Me and my friend Mo would play Warhawk all the fucking time. Big reason why I was able to enjoy that game as much as I did is because he was always there to like play with me. Knew the guy from high school.
That was a multiplayer only game. Right?
It was multiplayer only, $40 for being multiplayer only. Me and Mo would play it a lot together. What we would do is we would jump into like a private match. I got smudges on these glasses. We'd jump into a private match and only use sniper rifles. Because like the way the game worked is like you picked up weapons. You start with an assault rifle and you start with a pistol and that's it. Or you start with a pistol and a knife and that's it. So we would both find a sniper rifle and just do like a sniper battle.
Picking off people?
No, just...
battling each other.
Just each other. And we would do that for like 20 minutes and then people would slowly start to filter in and then we would start sniping them too and they would figure out what's going on and they would get a sniper.
Everybody was just grabbing sniper rifles.
And like... It would work for like up until we got 3 or 4 people, and then like that 5th person would come in, and he'd be like, "I'm fucking Warhawk, I'm fucking you guys up with this," and then like everything would start to get out of hand, and we just start like jumping into different like vehicles, and like more people would just start coming in because they saw that like our lobby was filling up, and it was just cool to like see that progression of just me and him doing like these very quiet sniper battles, where we're just like breathing. And then just shooting each other, and then we'd start laughing really hard because, like, oh, you fucking found me on this.
Those
big map.
early days are so different from now.
I miss
when you play games online now. It's complete. Yeah. Like whenever you would hop on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, everyone was talking.
Yeah.
Now you hop on Modern Warfare, no one is talking.
It's private parties now, dude. Like
it's private parties, and it's a backlash to not wanting to deal with other people.
Yeah, for sure. Like I mean, and to get into this, like people are, I think, a lot more sensitive now than they used to be. So if people hear certain words, and rightfully so, they get really upset. But I feel like back in the day, we just kind of like put up with it. So people were able to kind of like just deal with like the harshness of language.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Look, if we got into a match where we were saying horrible things, which happened.
Yeah.
Other people would say horrible things too, and it was fine.
And it was almost funny.
It was. I mean, it was a different time.
Yeah. With the 2019 lens of things, like it probably wasn't funny at all.
Right, exactly. I would never do those things today.
Exactly. Knowing what because you know better.
Right.
But yeah, I think back then, I think because of that, because back then people were just saying whatever the hell they wanted and getting away with it. More people were willing to like just be on mic. But then it got really toxic. I mean, it
did get toxic. But that's without a doubt. That's why so few people are interacting with each other if they don't personally know them or are on the same squad.
Yeah.
If they're not in a team chat, they're not talking.
And we both have to acknowledge, like, when people were saying horrible things to each other, like, whenever you heard someone on, like, chat, you would try and say the most horrible thing to them.
Oh, you went out of your way to say something horrible.
To say something terrible.
Especially if they beat you, like, legitimately. It was like, fuck you, you're terrible at the game, you're,
just this and that and this. And, like, when it's a bunch of, like, white dudes talking, it can only get so personal. But once, like, more women start playing games and stuff, like, then, like, the insults become different, I think. And because of that, and they could. They're not going to, I don't think a woman generally is going to react the same way that a dude would to horrible things being spouted into their mic, and they probably just don't want to be on mic. And more, I think,
to be fair, I've had women backlash just as hard.
I'm sure.
You could stand just,
yeah, for sure.
Would say just as horrible shit as a man. Like, I've heard that plenty of times.
Yeah,
but again, it was a different time then, and it's not the same anymore.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's we definitely got off on a tangent here. But I guess I'm thankful for those for playing with Mo, playing with the people I played with, and the people I met. I actually met one of my closest friends, Andre, through playing Uncharted 2 online. A guy who let me stay in his place for like a month while I found my own place in Portland. A dude I've gone to Japan with. Like, one of my closest friends I met through just a random match on Uncharted 2.
That's crazy.
Which is fucking wild.
That is. I met people online that I think I still talk to.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. But at least I talked to you for like a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that goes out again to like Bernardo and Rick and Robo and like Alec. If you're out there, like, those are all the people I've met through on like online gaming communities and stuff. And it's just cool to kind of, it's something I'm thankful for, like getting to meet like-minded people that I would have met if it weren't for like the internet and for video games, specifically video games. I think more than the internet than anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's just a really cool thing to do, to meet people that way. So I don't know. Matt, anything else you're thankful for?
Well, going way back.
Yeah.
Thankful for my Aunt Anna and Uncle Paul letting me play the Atari 2600 when I was very young. And when I mean very young, definitely couldn't read.
Yeah.
Probably couldn't even understand how I was holding a controller.
Your aunt and uncle?
My aunt and uncle.
Okay.
This is the first time I remember having any kind of exposure to a video game. And it was in their basement playing Frogger and Pitfall. Frogger was a better game.
Okay, yeah, of course.
But that was my first experience playing video games. It didn't like own me. It was like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is something I'm controlling this frog on a television. This is weird. I've never seen anything like this before.
How old were you, do you think?
I mean, this is a total guess. I'm guessing I was like 4 years old.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, that interactivity is something else, man. And like, it's so weird because you're right at that generation where like a decade before, like that didn't exist at all. That interaction.
They had video games, but I mean, they were very, the Magnavox Odyssey existed, I think, since like, I want to say like 68, 69.
Okay,
like
for
that.
Sure. But I feel like those were rare.
So few people had them, and they were very, very rudimentary.
Yeah.
Like, Atari was the first time you could really understand what things were, and even then you had to use your imagination. But then Nintendo came, and you had to use your imagination a lot less.
Yeah, it revolutionized everything.
And that's when I really got addicted to like games and like really into games. And I had my sister to thank for that because she was the one who asked for an NES before I even know like You could do that. Like, you could just ask your parents for, like, you know, presents and stuff.
You're like, what?
I just got whatever I probably got fucking clothes and shit because I was so young.
Yeah.
I wasn't asking for things for Christmas. But she had asked for an NES. She got one, and she got Super Mario Brothers, and we played the shit out of that. Eventually, I played that Nintendo so much that basically that became my Nintendo and not hers, and I'm sorry about that. But I loved that shit so much.
You're sorry, but you're thankful.
I'm thankful and sorry.
I mean, it just happens. I feel like that Sega Genesis that I got, which is like the first system I got, was for me and my sister. And I remember my sister playing games with me growing up, but the Genesis definitely shifted into like my thing as she got older and grew out of it, and I kind of just kept playing games. I was still into them. I was like
horribly addicted. Like, I was once I got Mario Brothers, I was like, this is my shit. Give me more.
I don't know. It's such a weird thing how compelling games are when you're younger. It's just something about. I mean, what do you think that is? Like, is it just being something else? Is it the control? I think the power?
Control has something to do with it because you're so young. You have no control over anything in your life. Yeah. You have control over absolutely nothing. Yep. But that time you're spending controlling Mario, you can make him do whatever you want. You can make him jump here. You make him jump there. You can break a brick. You can, jump on a fucking Goomba.
It's cool.
That I think has a strong appeal to a child because you have such little control elsewhere in your life.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a big factor of it. And yeah, I guess
at least if you have decent parents.
Yeah. If you have decent parents, you don't have control.
No, you do have.
Oh, you do have control.
I'm sorry, no, you don't have control if you have decent parents.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, yeah, if you don't have.
If you do have control and you're fucking 3, there's something wrong.
Something's going on. No one's watching you. Where are your parents? I wanted to bring up game creators and developers that I'm big on. That I'm thankful are not only making games but are like in an industry that allows them to make games. I think one of the biggest ones for me right now is Yoko Taro, the guy who did Nier and Nier Automata. Did you play these games at all? Do you know about them?
I know about them. Never played them.
So Yoko Taro.
They look interesting.
They're very weird and out there, and I think that's why I like him so much. Yoko Taro has really made a name for himself in having kind of like absurdist stories and like really nihilistic stories within his games. And he uses very dark tones, but he does it in a very like humorous sort of way. That just feels so unique and different. Drakengard 1, which I've never played myself, is a fucking crazy game with just really insane things that happen to like the characters that you're watching. And just seeing how twisted his mind is just so much fun. And like, it just feels like his games are like up until Automata, they've always been really janky and kind of technically shit.
But Automata was smooth.
What?
Automata was smooth.
Automata, yeah, it was done by Platinum. So he worked with Platinum to make that game, and it's his easily the best feeling game. So it just feels so lucky that he was able to do 3 Drakengards, that he was able to get Nier done, that he was able to build up a reputation off the back of a lot of technical deficiencies he had, or his studio had. But despite those deficiencies, the stories he told, the worlds he created, the characters he created were so good that nonetheless he was able to build enough of a reputation to like work with Platinum eventually and make something really phenomenal all around with Automata.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's exciting that he's someone who's like working in the industry.
Talk more about your developers for a minute. I'm gonna go use the restroom.
Okay, for sure. Then
Unless you want to do a hard cut.
No, I don't mind. Another one for me is Naoki Yoshida, who worked on Final Fantasy 14, who basically did the Realm Reborn, and brought things back. Final Fantasy 14 was in a shitty place when it first came out, 1.0, and Naoki Yoshida was brought in. Yoshi P, as he goes by as well, was brought in to basically tear down the game and rebuild it from scratch. Just the work he did to make that happen was super impressive, and something that I was very just floored by. Because it was kind of a unprecedented thing to see them see a developer kill their MMO, make a new MMO, and put that out as like the same MMO. Like, this is just a continuation of what we did. There's some great stuff from like NoClip documenting that whole procedure and stuff, and that was really, really cool. But I think Matt should be back in a bit. Maybe we'll do a little fade out here and come back when Matt has arrived. Matt, you've come back from the bathroom. How was it?
I have. Oh my God, I feel better.
Was it good?
It was fantastic.
Exciting bathroom break?
Not exciting, just relieving.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm getting close. I'm going to have to use this bathroom pretty soon too. Matt, we're about 50 minutes in. I'm just saying we wrap it up for the listeners. You have a few more things that you want to mention?
Yes, I'm thankful for my parents getting my sister that NES because that got me into video games. But I'm also thankful for my parents forcing them to dragging them to the rental stores constantly. Like I didn't get a lot of video games. I got a video game on Christmas,
for sure.
A video game on my birthday.
Dang,
that's when I got video games.
That was a similar thing growing up.
So renting games was essential.
Yep.
And I did it as much as I possibly could, and I probably annoyed the piss out of them with how much I wanted to go to the rental stores.
Go get. It's so funny. That's so funny because I'm sure by like at a certain point you were renting so much that it's like we should just buy them a few extra games.
There's a couple of like recently, if you follow me on Twitter, I posted about Krusty's Funhouse, which I recently picked up on Sega Genesis. I remember renting that all the time, and I thought like, oh my God, I love this when I was a kid. It is not a good game. My God, what was I thinking?
Kids growing up just have trash opinions in games. I think that's just like a common thing. I liked Vector Man, which I don't think is that great of a game personally. I thought Sonic the Hedgehog was incredible.
It's good.
It's good. It's good. It's good, Matt.
That 2 is better than 1 for sure. 1 is rough to get back into after you play.
1 is pretty bad. I would even call 1 a bad game. Personally.
I wouldn't call it a bad game. I would call it not as advanced. The mechanics that they enter, like the spin move and stuff in 2 and 3, you need that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, the rental stores were big, and also the accompanying food that came with that.
Oh, you get little snacks while you're at the store?
So it was right. The main rental store we went to used to be further away. It was in like Cinnaminson, which was a few towns over.
Okay.
And it wasn't. I would say it was like a 15 to 20 minute drive to get there. So it was a little bit out of the way. Eventually, that store moved into a bigger area closer to us, which was much more convenient.
Okay.
But typically, if we had to go out that way, it was, can we get pizza? Or when it moved, it was right next to McDonald's. Yeah. It was, can we go to McDonald's?
Oh, rock and roll McDonald's.
Rock and roll McDonald's.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Or just if we're getting a movie, I definitely needed popcorn.
Okay.
But it was always like, I need this, but I also need this.
Yeah. just playing the angles.
I was a fat kid.
As all kids do. Were you fat?
I wasn't like huge. I was a little chunky when I was younger.
Just kidding.
I was a little chubby. But I liked me some pizza. I liked me some McDonald's. Certainly some popcorn.
Yeah, all that stuff was good. Who doesn't though? Who didn't as a kid?
What better Friday night for a kid? You get a movie, you get a little video game for the
video
weekend,
game to rent. Yeah,
and you get some McDonald's in your life.
The 90s were a special time.
My God,
they were truly a special time. I hope kids out there right now are having similarly great, wholesome times with their weekends. You know,
yeah, except for they're not playing outside anymore.
No, I mean, yeah.
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, that was, yeah. I'm thankful for my dad for forcing me to play outside. He would lock me out of the house. I don't know if you'd...
Me too.
Yeah, your parents would do that too?
Very, not lock me out of the house, but it got to the point where they were like, you need to go outside. You need to go. And I met friends that way. I got to
same.
meet neighbors and stuff. And, my next door neighbor was how I got exposed to SNES.
Hey, he didn't even know. It's my favorite thing when you would your dad would be like, go outside, don't come back. And I'd be like, hey, bro, can I come inside and play your Super Nintendo?
That's because I was a Genesis kid too, and I had most everybody I knew had a Genesis
for sure.
But my neighbor, my right next door, had an SNES, so most of my exposure was through that.
Yeah, I was definitely playing PlayStation and stuff at a friend's house because I didn't have a PlayStation 1 at all. I had to skip that generation because my parents just wouldn't get me.
That's shocking to me.
It's a bummer. But when I got that PS1, I played.
I'm sure
a PS1 games.
Burn that laser disc drive right out.
It was crazy. I did actually a few times. So yeah, that fucking childhood, man, is pretty great.
But nobody goes outside anymore. That's what we were talking about.
Yes.
It's totally true.
Yeah,
I was forced to play outside. You were also forced to play outside.
I think that's an important thing for my development. To make sure that I wasn't just a person who was 100% a nerd, like a closet nerd, like who only stayed inside and never went outside, because of all that time I spent outside, hanging out with people outside and with friends and stuff. Like I was able to have things I'm super nerdy about, like anime and video games and all this stuff, but also have a social life and communicate with people and all that stuff.
Being social and being competitive were two things I definitely learned from
being
outside and playing sports with kids. I played a lot of sports. Even though I was a nerd, I was very athletic.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, basically what we're saying is we're cooler than nerds. We're better.
We're better than you.
We're better than you, is what we're saying. I like you with a few beers because you'll say insulting things to the audience, which I really appreciate.
Is that all you want me to do?
That's all I want.
Insult people?
I want you to be the heel of this
your
podcast.
Stupid internet questions from Stupid Internet People segment.
Yeah, I want you to say that. I want you to get mad at them. I mean, there's a lot to be thankful of, I guess, in closing.
Yeah, there is. This is like we could do this for hours and hours and hours.
100%. And I don't want to keep it too long. I don't want to drone on and on about like our personal experiences that much. I don't even know if you're going to like this podcast, so I'd rather keep it short.
Yeah, we'll see what you guys think. If you want more of this stuff, let us know. If you want less of it, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Just give us a heads up. But yeah, there's a lot to be thankful for. I guess the message I wanted to leave everyone with is like, be aware of like the world that you live in and how good you might have it. Some people don't have it great. You might be someone who doesn't have it great, and for that, that sucks as well. But if you do have it, if things are going well for you and your life is pretty solid for the most part, you have a roof over your head, you have a pretty solid income coming in, like that's awesome. And take the time to reflect about what your life and what's good and enjoy that, I guess.
That's well said.
Yeah. All right. And that's it. We're not going to do dual action hyperturbo HE challenge. We discussed in one of the cuts that we're not going to do it. We're going to save it for a regular episode of Nerdthusiast. We have it in the doc though.
I don't have more things on this, so next year we might do this again, and I'll probably leave this doc here and not delete it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I'll go back and use some of the stuff I didn't use this year.
Keep it for posterity's sake, and maybe we'll. Yeah, exactly. You can use it next year.
Yep, indeed.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great Thanksgiving. Happy holidays going forward as well. We'll probably do a Christmas special as well. Something.
Yeah.
If we can think of something, a little bit different and fun
maybe
to do.
We'll find something themed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be cool. And
I got an idea already.
Do you really?
Best Christmas presents growing up.
Yeah, that could be a good.
There you go.
Good segment. All right, guys. Take care. Anything else you want to say to the people out there?
No, just be kind to each other. Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole is a good, yeah. Guys, don't be an asshole.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Oh.
I love my Power Glove. It's so bad.